Hello student. So let's see, after the ovulation the changes should be occurs into that the ovary and the uterus, and how that the corpus luteum it should be formed, so its structure and the function of the corpus luteum. So before starting this part, let's see that is the structure of the ovum. So as you know, the ovum it is shades from the ovary, so it is not fully mature, and it is the fact that the secondary oocyte that is undergo for the division to shade of the second polar body. So let's see how the changes should be occurs and how that is the ovum should be mature. So here you can see that is the structure of the ovum. So as you know, whenever that is the primary oocyte it goes for the first meiotic division, so it should be form the two daughter cell. That is the first it is the secondary oocyte, and second one that is the first polar body. So this one, and whenever that is shed from the ovary, so it is not fully mature and it is goes under the secondary oocyte that the goes for the division to shade of the second polar body. At this stage, that is the ovum has the appearance seen like this. That is its outer covering it is made by or surrounded by the zona pellucida. That is the red color ring is seen. Some cells that is called the corona radiata, it should be spread around that the zona pellucida. This one. Then the no nucleus it is seen as the nuclear membrane has dissolved for the second meiotic division. So here you can see. And the second meiotic division it starts whenever the spermatozoa goes in contact with that this secondary oocyte, and it should be forming the two daughter cell, that is the ovum and the second polar body. Then that is the secondary oocyte it consists of forming the, instead of the nucleus, that is the spindle shaped nucleus is present. Then between the cell membrane, that is the yellow color here you can see, that is the cell membrane. So between that is the cell membrane and the zona pellucida, that is a space is present, that the white margin is present. So this space it is called the perivitelline space, and the first polar body is present into that the perivitelline space. It is important that the ovum is a very large cell and it is measures more than the 100 micromillimeter in the diameter, and in contrast most of the other cell of the body it measure less than the 10 micromillimeter, and you know 1 micromillimeter it is 1000 of the millimeter. So that is the structure of the ovum. Then let's see that is the fate of the ovum. So that is whenever that is the ovum that shed from the ovary, you know that is the ovary it is very closely embraced by the fimbriated to that the uterine tube. So the ovum therefore easily carried into that the fallopian tube, and by the fallopian or the follicular fluid discharged from the follicle, and partly by the activity of the ciliated cells present into that the fallopian tube. Then ovum is slowly travels through that the tube towards the uterus. So here in this diagram you can see that is the ovum it is shed, and that is the fimbriated end of the fallopian tube that throughout this that is enters into that the fallopian tube. Okay? And it travels throughout the tube and taking near about 3 to 4 days for enters into that the uterus. So during this time if the intercourse that should be occurs, the spermatozoa from the vagina that should be enters into that the uterus, and throughout the uterus it should be enters into that the fallopian tube, and the spermatozoa may fertilize that the ovum, and if that is happens, the fertilized ovum begins to develop into that the embryo, and it travels through that the uterus and gets implanted into the posterior wall of the uterus. On the other hand, if ovum or the secondary oocyte it is not fertilized, then it dies in 12 to 24 hours, and then it passes through the uterus into the vagina and then get discharged. Let's see, that is the corpus luteum. So the corpus luteum, that is the important structure, and the main function of that is the corpus luteum, that is secrete the hormone, that is the progesterone, but it also secrete the small amount of the estrogen also. So that is the corpus luteum. It is derived from the ovarian follicle after the rupture and the shed of the ovum. So here you can see that is the ovarian follicle and its shed, that is the ovum. So it should be formed that the structure, it is called the corpus luteum. So whenever that is the follicle are rupture, its wall collapse and become folded. So here you can see that is formation of, that is the folding of the wall of the corpus luteum. And at this stage, that is the follicular cells are small and the rounded. So here you can see these cells are very much small and rounded. They now rapidly enlarge and increase the size, and the walls pressurize against the neighboring cell so that cells acquired that the polyhedral shape. So here you can see that increase the size, or in this diagram you can also see that increase the size and it should be formed, that is the polyhedral shape. The cytoplasm that becomes filled with the yellow pigment, it is called the lutein, and they are now called the luteal cell. So here you can see that is the yellow pigment is present. So these are called the luteal cell, and the presence of the yellow pigment gives the structure yellow color to that the corpus luteum. So it is called the corpus luteum, means that is the yellow body. Then some cells of the theca interna, it is also enlarged and they contribute to forming that the corpus luteum. Then whenever we have seen that the corpus luteum, it secrete the progesterone hormone, this secretion has poured into the blood like the secretion of the endocrine gland. That is the ovarian follicle itself has no any blood vessel, but the surrounding theca interna, it is full of them, and when the corpus luteum, it is formed, the blood vessels from the theca interna invade it and it provides it the rich blood supply. Let's see, that is the fate of corpus luteum. So if the ovum, it is not fertilized whenever it should be shed, so this ovum, it is not fertilized, the corpus luteum persists about 14 days, and during this period it secretes the hormone, that is the progesterone, and it remains relatively small and called the corpus luteum of the menstruation. At this end of this functional life, it degenerates and forms the mass of fibrous tissue. So here that is called the corpus albicans, this one, and in this way that is the corpus luteum that should be shrink. But if that is the ovum is fertilized and the pregnancy is result, that is the corpus luteum, it is persist for 3 to 4 months, and this is larger than the corpus luteum of menstruation, and this is called the corpus luteum of the pregnancy. The corpus luteum, when the pregnancy occupy, so that the size of the corpus luteum, it is increases and it should be formed the 1/3 to the total volume of the ovary. The progesterone which is secreted by this corpus luteum, it is essential for the maintenance of the pregnancy in the first few months. After the 4 months, that is the corpus luteum, it is not longer need, because that is the placenta begins to secrete the hormone, that is the progesterone, and at this stage the degeneration of the corpus luteum in the early month of the pregnancy, it is prevented by the human chorionic gonadotrophin, that is called the HCG hormone, which is secreted by the trophoblast cell of the developing embryo. Then in the last, that is the series of changes that begins with the formation of the ovarian follicle and end with the degeneration of the corpus luteum, that constituent the called the ovarian cycle, and this ovarian cycle has average duration that is of the 24 days. 28 days, with ovulation occurring at mid cycle, that is on the 14th day of the menstruation. So here that is the ovulation that should be occurs.